You think horror only lives in movies? Think again. These are 4 true horror stories about everyday things. A phone, an office, a store, and a home. Ordinary places, hiding terrifying truths. We all live surrounded by ordinary things, but sometimes the things that feel safest hide the darkest secrets. Tonight, you'll hear stories that blur the line between the real and the unreal. Moments that started out normal and ended in something no one could explain. So keep watching, because the scariest stories are the ones that could happen anywhere, even where you are right now. The first story, that phone in my room, wasn't mine. My name is Lila. That night, a single sound made me realize I might never feel safe in the dark again. That phone in my room wasn't mine. It started like any other night. I was lying in bed, lamp on, my phone right beside me. Around 2 a.m., I heard a soft notification sound. Familiar, close. I reached for my phone. The screen was black. No messages, nothing. I shrugged it off and went back to sleep. A few minutes later, it happened again. This time from the other side of the room. I got up, checked around. Nothing there. Only the faint glow of the streetlight spilling through the window. I turned off the lamp, pulled the blanket over my head, tried to sleep. Just as my eyes were closing, the sound came again. But this time, it came from outside the window. The next morning, I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe a dream, maybe my imagination. But that night, it happened again. 3 times, each one louder than before, like someone was triggering it on purpose, timing it perfectly. My heart was racing. I turned off every sound, every notification, even the ringtone. Placed my phone on the desk and lay back down. 10 minutes later, the same sound echoed again. I froze. The phone was off, the screen still dark, but the sound was still coming from the desk. That night, I didn't sleep. Every few minutes, another tone, another silence. It felt like the room itself was listening. The next night, I decided to test it. I left my phone in the living room, far from my bed. And just after 3:07 a.m., that sound came again. From inside my room, I held my breath, walked to the door, and slowly pushed it open. Pitch black, no light, no movement, until a faint glow caught my eye, coming from the edge of my bed. My phone, lying right there, exactly where it shouldn't be. I picked up the phone. A new message. No sender. Just one line. Don't look up, Lila. In that moment, I couldn't tell if I should breathe or run. But I did look up, and the screen went dark as a shadow moved past me. Since that night, I turn off every notification I hear, instinctively, and still, some nights, when my phone is off, and sitting across the room, I hear that same soft tone again. A sound that almost whispers my name. Second story, the night archive. Sometimes, the silence in an office is louder than any sound. My name is Jim. I've worked in a government archive office for over 10 years. My job's simple, sorting and filing old records, paper, dates, names, all blending together in quiet repetition. But that night, something felt different. Everyone had gone home. It was around 11. The wind slipped through the old metal windows, and the moonlight crawled through the blinds. I was, as usual, the last one there, organizing a pile of yellowed files from the 90s. Everything was routine until I found one folder. On its cover, written in red ink, were the words, "Closed case, do not open." I smirked. Probably some co-worker's idea of a joke, but something about it felt wrong, like I was being watched from the dark corners of the room. The folder was heavier than the others. When I opened it, there was only a single photo inside. An old photo of this very office. Same shelves, same desk, same flickering light above me. Only one thing was different. In the picture, I was sitting at the desk. I froze, looked around. No one was there. I lifted the photo closer and noticed a dark figure standing behind me. Vague, human-shaped, but faceless. Then a soft noise came from the far end of the hall. Something had fallen. I stood up, moved slowly toward it. Just a drawer left open, a folder lying on the floor. I bent down to pick it up and saw the label. Jim Grayson, Archives Department. My heart stopped. That file couldn't exist. It was only for retired or deceased employees. I hurried to the door. It was locked. The key wouldn't turn. One by one, the lights began to flicker and die. Only the red glow of the security camera remained. I glanced at the monitor next to my desk. It showed the live feed of the room. But something was off. On the screen, I was still sitting at the desk. I turned around. The chair was empty, but the monitor still showed me sitting there. My hands started trembling. Then, slowly, the chair slid back by itself and stopped beside the wall. A soft whisper came from behind me. "Why did you open that file, Jim?" I spun around. No one, only dust and cold air. The red light blinked 3 times, then went dark. Total silence. Then, faintly, the sound of breathing. I couldn't tell where it came from, behind the shelves or between the files. Then came the sound of paper turning, like someone flipping through the records, searching for my name. At the far end of the room, a faint green glow appeared. It came from the monitor. Words began typing across the screen. File, Jim Grayson, opened. I stumbled backward, tripped, hit the floor. When I looked up, the photo was lying next to me. But now the shadow behind me had shape. A man in a gray coat. No face, stepping out of the picture. The lights flashed for a second, and suddenly, the room wasn't the same. The shelves were empty, the papers burned, and on the desk lay one fresh page. File closed. I walked out that night, but no one ever saw me again. They say late at night, if you walk past that old building, you can still hear the drawers sliding open and papers quietly turning, like someone's still filing names. Third story, the deleted lists. My name is Ethan. That night, I realized my phone might not be mine anymore. It all started with a simple note. A note I was sure I had written myself. But when I opened it again, something had changed. I always used the Notes app to organize my life. Grocery lists, tasks, deadlines, everything. But that night, around 11 p.m., I noticed a new folder. Its name was Deleted lists. At first, it looked normal, but when I opened it, there were several files with strange titles I had never created. Bedroom, kitchen, staircase. I froze. The first list read, "Lights went out. 1:12 a.m. He's still in bed. Doors are unlocked. Exactly when the power had flickered last night." The second list, "Knife on the cutting board. He still thinks he's alone." I had been chopping vegetables in the kitchen at that exact moment. The third list, "Fourth step creaked." He paused, waiting for him to move again. My stomach dropped. Someone was watching me. I tried to exit the app, but a new file appeared. Office. I opened it. It read, "He knows." My heart raced. I threw my phone on the desk. I turned off everything. Wi-Fi, syncing, all notifications. But minutes later, a new file appeared. Front door. When I opened it, it said, "He got up." Phone in left hand, heading to the door. Seconds later, 3 knocks came at the door. I ran, but no one was there. Turning back, my phone was on. The latest list, list number 5, final note. Inside, a single line, "He won't read this again." I thought it was over. I was wrong. The next night, something else began. Not notes, but calls. An unknown number with a strange area code rang. When I answered, I heard my own voice, delayed like an echo from a dark tunnel. The voice said, "Don't open the new note." My phone slipped from my hands. The call ended. I rushed to the Notes app, and a new folder appeared. Call logs. The first file read, "He answered the call. Now we know where he is." No matter how many times I deleted it, it came back. After every deletion, a new unknown number called. Hours passed. The phone vibrated again. This time, a short text. "You're not alone, Ethan." My breathing was heavy. Every small movement I made, I heard the soft scrape of the carpet or a chair turning slowly. Moonlight slicing through the blinds cast shadows across the walls. Then the deleted lists folder opened on its own. A new list, Bedroom, Part 2. It read, "Lights on. He moves. Something behind him." My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Every time I reached for my phone, I felt a presence, or at least a shadow. An hour later, the phone vibrated again. A new message. "Don't look at the window, Ethan." But curiosity won. I turned toward the window, and for a brief moment, a shadow stood there under the streetlight. Silence. Only my heartbeat. I turned back to my desk, and the phone lit up. The final list. List number 10. The end. I opened it, and a single terrifying line. "He's still watching." Story 4. The Night Store. The night was quiet, just like every other, until I heard the sound of the fridge door opening. The problem is, that night, the only person in the store was me. My name's Stan. I've been working the night shift at a local grocery store for 5 years now. Most nights are the same: tired customers, buzzing neon lights, and that strange silence that settles in after 2 a.m. I used to like that silence, or at least, I thought I did. That night it was raining lightly. The streets outside were empty and the air felt heavy. The store looked normal, shelves perfectly stacked, everything in its place. But there was this feeling, like someone was watching me from behind the aisles. I tried to ignore it. I walked to the dairy section, checking expiration dates like usual. Then I heard it. The faint click of the fridge door opening. I turned my head, and no one was there. The door hung open, cold mist spilling out onto the floor. I sighed, walked over, and pushed it shut. That's when I heard a bottle fall. I spun around. A single bottle of milk was lying on the floor. It had fallen from the top shelf, the one behind the security camera. Nobody could have been there. That area was locked off from the public. I went to the back room to check the monitors. The screens were flickering, static jumping across the feed. Then, for just 1 second, I saw it, a dark shape standing between the soda aisles, motionless. And then, it was gone. I told myself it was just a glitch, maybe a reflection, maybe I was tired. But then, the store phone rang. Nobody else was working that night. I picked it up, hesitated. There was breathing on the other end, slow, uneven, and then a whisper, a voice that sounded like mine. It said, "Stan, don't go to the back door." I froze, put the phone down. My heart was racing. I turned toward the exit to lock up, but the handle started to move. I didn't quit after that night. I told myself it was all in my head, the long hours, the lack of sleep. But some nights, it feels like the store remembers. Now, when the hum of the lights fades and the air gets cold, I don't look at the cameras anymore. I don't answer the phone. I just wait for morning. Because sometimes in the reflection of the glass door, I see him again. The man who looks like me. And every night, he's standing a little bit closer. The nightmare isn't over. It's just beginning. Wait until your dreams start feeling real. In the next video, the night I couldn't wake up. Nightmares that felt too real. Some nightmares don't end when you wake. Stay awake if you can.